voices inside my head. See voices behind the wall, uplifting the underdog. We fighting above the law.
Hi, everyone. Hey, Bob. Hey, Jordan. You're on time. Hey, Saint. Dalen. I just read your last text. I'll text you after this. Hey, Elaine. Angelique. Patty. Jen. Punksy. Wednesday. Hey, Tommy. Hey, Frankie. Ghost Ninja. Haven't been around. Been really sick. Oh, hope you feel better, Denise. Hey, Deborah. Hey, Ro. Oh, wow, the chat just jumped like crazy. No, you're not there's no way you're a petty bitch. Hey, Samantha. Clicked out of that video oh, hey, Carla. Hey, Ro. Hey, Shannon. Honest Rage. Crazy Train. Hey, Rita. Miranda. Betsy. Debbie. If I'm missing anyone, I'm sorry. Bad. Catch me at 7 p.m. for a session called Which. You're allowed to type. You guys, it's on slow mode, so sometimes when you go to leave a comment, it should tell you like how many seconds left or whatever before you can chat again. It's not that you're blocked or deleted. It's just that it's on slow mode. It will only let you send a text, and it will look like you're blocked because it'll come back gray and not show up, but you're not blocked. It's just that it's making you wait. I think I have it set for like 85 seconds in between comments right now. Hey, Robin. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name, but hello. Hey, little bit. Which road will you travel? That sounds interesting. Hey, Bobby. Sarah. Hey, Matt. I'm just going to give it a couple minutes here. How is everyone doing? I've got several clips for us to go through. McDaniel Crew, hello. Tammy Ayo. Sam I am. So if you guys can put a thumbs up or down in the chat. Thumbs up if you know the McCann case. Thumbs down if you don't. I'm pretty sure 99% of you do. Hey, lady. Hey, Stormy. From Idaho. Patty. Who shits? Coffee McQueen. Okay. No thumbs down. Okay. Yeah, I figured. Now this was one of the cases that, like, I know I personally sent to Don Wells. I know it's a case he looked into and kind of studied, and if we're going to go over some of the older clips, from that case, obviously it's older, but we're going to go over the clip and watch the news clip that the Wells first did. I believe only, 3 days after Summer was missing, I believe, when they did their first news interview. So with knowing that, yeah. Oh, you don't know, Tasha? Well, we're going to be playing some clips. Missy, you don't know either? Oh, wow. Okay, well, there's a few. So I'll have the clips here. It's definitely, if you have Netflix, there's still a really good documentary on there about the McCann case. And I was actually going to try and watch that today, but I was watching other stuff. Lynn, you haven't either? Mary Murphy hasn't either? Okay, so a bunch of you guys actually haven't. Hey, Crystal. So Madeline McCann we'll do long story, very short, but I think we'll have to go over maybe more than just the show if because there's quite a few of you that either you're just kidding and you haven't heard about it, or you really haven't heard about it. But she was she 3 or 4 years old at the time of her, we'll call it a kidnapping, while her she's British family, they were on vacation in Portugal. And if I'm not mistaken, it's a family of doctors with several friends that were also doctors that were all on vacation at the same time. And you're going to see it's a lot of the same kind of things, lots of important questions that they wouldn't answer. You're going to see that, again, there was multiple kids in the home, but the little girl was the only one that got took. And again, you hear the parents repeatedly say they were very close by and had a very close watch on their daughter. I don't know about you, but I am not going to be leaving my toddler children in Portugal. I don't care how close you are. And again, they claim that they were checking on their children. I think every 20 minutes was what they were claiming, and that the husband and wife, Jerry and Kate, took turns every 20 minutes going to check on the children. I'm not sure I believe that. I mean, my own personal feelings and thoughts, I don't believe that. Again, with Candace, just turned her back for 2 minutes. Summer's gone, always close there. Like, how could this happen? At the same time, you have Don saying he always knew something would happen to Summer. And it's interesting because it's just over 100 days now for Summer, and I have the interview that the McCanns did 100 days into their daughter Madeline missing too. So I thought it would be interesting to just kind of go through and compare, because I did, like, Don and I have talked about this case. We have, like, I've sent the links to him and everything, and that's when I kind of picked up that he was kind of changing and forming the way he was acting in certain questions to the different media by trial cases that we were discussing and sending back and forth. And basically, I feel as though he was studying. I don't believe that either. There's no way it was 2 minutes and she was taken. It's impossible. Not impossible, but it would have had to have been staged just damn perfect for that area, the terrain and everything, to know that within 2 minutes she was down there. And again, I repeat, I mean, the proof is out there and we can go over it a million times. I mean, the window down on that door was at McCann Cases went there. They showed that. So unless someone was already in that basement sitting there waiting, then how would they know that, Candace didn't go in the basement or the boys didn't go in the basement? So again, I don't know how they would have known, or someone was sitting outside, but how did they see that Summer was down there? Because that bottom door, that basement door, you can see out, but you can't see in. For sure not on a sunny day. The glare, like it's like a one-way window type of thing. So it's weird. And then again, you have the rumors, we'll call it for now, that Robin had said she saw police reports where the door was locked, or she saw it one way, but the walls were saying another. Now, Robin had personally told me she hadn't seen actual police reports. Once upon a time, I had talked to Don Bushman, or Bachman, I'm not sure how you say his last name, Don B, once upon a time, and I asked him, did she really say she saw the police report, or did she mean like just the reports? Because what she told me was, no, I didn't see the police report, I just meant like reports on TV. So either way, she had felt like the stories were different than what she had heard, from reports on TV to what she was told by Don and Candace. We know you're trying to incriminate the Wells, Cher. Well, whatever you say. Hey, Vanessa. Hey, Nikki. Regular thing in the evenings for McCann's eating at a restaurant. So easy prey for predator to take daughter. Could have been watching the apartment and plan abduction. Well, my thing is where they were staying. Now, not only did they provide daycare and people to watch your children for you, these people had the money. Like, why wouldn't you do that? If you have a 3-year-old, and again, she was 3 or 4 at this time, why didn't you splurge on an hour or two of that to have them watch? But now you read, and come February or March of just this year, now she's putting new allegations in some book she wrote, where she's saying before Madeline even disappeared, before they even went out to dinner, that there was some weird message that the hotel staff had left that now she had like cringed about that night. Okay, so first of all, you're in Portugal, right? Whole area on vacation, and you're going to just trust your toddlers in a room. I would not trust that. I'm sorry. That is common sense. You don't do that. I wouldn't do that anywhere I go. Florida, anywhere I go, would I leave my 3-year-old unattended so I could go eat for an hour or two, and knowing that the hotel provided people to watch your children? Why didn't they go for that? It just makes no sense. And even more, I think it was planned how it all happened because of the law in Portugal. And it's some weird law where I'll have to look it up, and I'll post the link, but the documentary went over it. Portugal is like the only place, I think, in the world that has this law of where your child can go missing, but somehow it's not considered a missing persons, or anyways, you don't really get in trouble. So it's just very bizarre, the law that surrounds this case, and it really does make me think that it was planned out. No way any real parents would just leave the kids. And again, it's multiple kids and only the girl missing. So only the boys were left. Only the sons were left. Again, like the Wells. Why didn't they order it in if no babysitter? Apparently, this is something that they had done a lot, I guess, from the sounds of it. It doesn't make sense to me. These people are doctors. I would think they have common sense. And leaving my toddler, my beautiful young girl, while I am in Portugal, either me, and I'm always just way too suspicious of everyone, but there's no way in hell that I am doing that. You don't leave your 3-year-old at home alone to run down the street to your local, like, let's say, grocery store for milk or something, right? No, you have to take them with you. Like, what the hell? So I'm going to get into that first. Let me try and find it here. And I'm going to play the little clip. I can't remember. It should pop up on the screen. I'm going to play the little clip, which I believe is within 48 hours of Madeline missing. Let me find it here. Okay, I think it's this one.
Jerry and Kate, they're still waiting desperately for news. And with every hour that passes, the questions only grow and the sense of dread mounts. They felt from the beginning this was a case of abduction, of someone snatching their little girl as she was sleeping in their holiday apartment. And a short time ago, they made this appeal.
Words cannot describe the anguish and despair that we are feeling as the parents of our beautiful daughter Madeline. We request that anyone who may have any information related to Madeline's disappearance, no matter how...
And by the way, I have always felt that by her carrying this damn doll around maybe it's the same day as Madeline being reported missing, but it's within 48 hours, and she was carrying this doll around. I actually do think it was very strategic, because the next show we do, where we break down, where you're actually going to see and be able to pinpoint exactly how Donald changed himself to be like Michael, is it Peterson? the staircase murders guy. Yeah, so that's interesting too. Where, people with money, and Michael Peterson was probably just as well off as these folks were. They paid somebody to coach them on how to look sympathetic and things like that. So, I mean, there's that. So I did always feel that this was kind of staging, with holding the doll all of the time for her.
Trivial, contact the Portuguese police and help us get her back safely. Please, if you have Madeline, let her come home to her mummy, daddy, brother and sister.
This is home video of Maddie, a girl who next week celebrates her 4th birthday. The Portuguese police have been searching throughout the day, perplexed and baffled like so many here. This is an adjacent apartment to where the McCanns were staying, and this room identical in layout to where Madeline was taken from. And the question now preoccupying police is, did somebody break in? And if so, how did they get through this type of shutter? Locals and holidaymakers alike joined the hunt. But 24 hours on, despite forensic efforts.
So again, that makes me think, so if that basement door, like, how did they get there to Summer? Again, that window in that basement door, there's no way anyone saw in that she was down there within that 2 minutes or whatever it may be. Again, unless someone was waiting in the basement, but nobody's seen anyone come out of the house. And the door was locked or unlocked. We still don't have those answers. And just like the McCanns, well, we can't really talk about that. It's part of the investigation. All of the important questions, is that's what we're being told here. Not necessarily what I believe. I just feel they don't want to answer the questions because it's very incriminating, clearly. But it is, again, strange. And they got in through the, windows still locked, all of that security in there, and again left a few other kids in there, because I can't remember if they said their friends' children were in there too, but for sure they left 2 other younger kids in there as well, not too far off of Maddie's age, actually. So.
And a careful look for fingerprints that might point to a suspect. There appear to be no clues and no obvious leads, and the sense of shock is immense.
It's the thing you don't want to think about, though, because, no parents want to lose their children in that sort of situation. It's not nice at all.
Britain's ambassador to Portugal would not put his weight behind the idea this was definitely a kidnapping. Is your working assumption that this is a case of an abduction?
I don't think we can make any assumptions at this stage.
Mark Warner is a holiday brand trusted by many British families, and this video footage filmed here last week shows the care that staff take to keep track of their youngest customers. This has become an agonizing wait for a close-knit family that wanted simply to enjoy the sunshine of the Algarve. A family that now faces terrifying uncertainty over the fate of Madeline.
I mean, I could be wrong. It's just my thoughts and opinions. I wasn't sure if she was found, not from what I know. Hey, Benny. Yeah, poor baby. So I don't know, but to me it just doesn't add up. I think it's interesting. They left all their kids in different apartments and did the checking between them, so they say. Right, and it's just so odd. Not found, that's what I thought, but I know that all of a sudden now, I believe in February, they think that they found the person or whatever, the culprit who could be involved and the guilty one. But I think it's interesting that all of this new stuff comes forward and it's within several months, 6 months. And now Kate is just getting back to being a doctor, I believe this month or last month. So within 6 months of all of a sudden, oh, now they've got information that could crack the case and she's a doctor again. So yes, I am very, very suspicious of it. And I'm allowed to be. So if you don't like that, and again, all opinions, hey, Emma, are definitely welcome with respect, but it's always been a little iffy to me. Hey, Andrea. Catalin. Police wanted them blamed. Maddie was abducted. Please use facts and not personal opinions when there is a lot of information out there. There's also a lot of information out there pointing to the parents. It's actually a case where I would say 50-50 are split. Again, just like most true crime cases. If this isn't the channel for you, you can go find another one. I'm doing shows on cases I know that Donald took a look at, and how I know he watched and did critique things, and it's plain to see in the interviews that were done. They left the door unlocked, which to me is crazy. I'm sorry, there's anyone in here leaving their kids, going to like Portugal, we'll say Jamaica, or anywhere in the world that's not home, or even at home these days, where they're leaving their 3-year-old daughter or children home alone as long as people are coming to check every 20 minutes. Now, I'm not too sure. I think he says how far the restaurant was, so I'm curious how long that would take to walk there, check on the kids, walk back. Like, how many minutes does that take? I'd be curious, because I don't think I've seen anything on that. Like, how long did that take every 20 minutes? Did it take 10 minutes every 20 minutes and they were taking turns? Like, to me, it just seems a little chaotic in that sense. And again, like people said, like, why didn't you just order in that night? Or why didn't you just pay for the babysitting services? I'll never understand that part. They had the money, they could have paid someone for 2 hours. Because yes, it was an option where they were staying to have nannies or daycare as you needed, because it was for well-off people like the McCanns. All right, I'm going to find the next clip here, which one is this? Okay, so we're going to do the clip where it's 100 days in of Madeline missing. They left them every night. I don't care if it's quite normal. I would not be doing that. I don't care. And if that is normal, like, I don't care. I just feel it's wrong. I just don't like it. I don't like that at all. And also, when we go through the trial by media cases here and kind of do the comparisons, only to the ones that I know were researched in the Wells case, yeah, I don't think that's normal. I don't care who you are. And again, these people were doctors, are doctors. Common sense, common sense. You do not leave your toddlers alone. I don't even leave them alone at 3 years old at home and go, oh yeah, I'll just go check every 20 minutes. No, there's just no way. Actually, I think in like the States, you could probably have your children taken away from you for that. Exclusive holiday package, yeah. Bye, Mary. I'll help you. I'll even block you so you won't come back. Yes, I did. I think there's a couple, but the one I seen, yeah, and even I believe the Portugal police were even going to charge them after a while. I will point out that it did seem that the mom wanted to stay there and look a little more. It did seem like dad was ready right away, like, I gotta get back to business, gotta get back. And maybe it's normal for the men to act more that way and be thinking that way, you know, Because you do got to continue your life going, especially when there's other kids. I've never thought the parents were involved, but I agree that's not normal. I went on holiday close to that resort not long after it happened, and all of the Portuguese people I spoke to at the hotel thought the McCanns were behind the disappearance. Yeah, and doing the research, and I haven't done as extensive research in this case as I have others, but I've done some, and I've watched some stuff on it a few times over the last couple of years, actually. And I've always just felt it was off. I've read that, Debbie, but again, that's just, hearsay, but I have read that. But it's easy for that to be the first thing people say and kind of spread around when their daughter's missing. But again, if you're going to be someone's doctor, I just feel as though it's common sense you don't leave a 3-year-old or 4-year-old or 5-year-old like home alone and go out for fancy dinners and drink wine with your friends or whatever it was. I don't know. I'm sorry. If you're going to splurge on all that, splurge for a damn nanny. Yeah, sketchy. Mm-hmm. All right, let me find. Okay, so the next clip is an interview she did. I think this one might be Sky News, and it's 100 days after Madeline's disappearance. I believe they are still in Portugal.
News. Over the past 100 days, you've conducted a phenomenal awareness campaign, which has led to various possible sightings, which have later been dismissed. Just take us through the emotional experience you go through from the moment that someone says, I'm definite that I've seen Madeline, to when it's discounted.
I mean, the main thing for us is knowing if the sighting is credible or not, really. To be honest, we don't go through that emotional roller coaster with regards to the sightings. The only thing that we'll be happy for is when we know it's definitely Madeline, but we don't go through the ups and downs of that. I mean, the reassuring thing for us is that it implies that people are still looking for Madeline, and that's really important and encouraging.
I think it's self-protection, really, that if you were up and down like that all the time, you just wouldn't be able to function. So it comes back, as Kate says, to the credibility.
Now, it's been a tough week for you. The Portuguese press in particular seem to be conducting what could be described as a smear campaign against you and attempting to put the blame of Madeline's disappearance on you. Where are they getting this information from, and how do you react to it?
We don't read Portuguese, so I think that's the first thing to say, that we haven't read the accounts firsthand. There does seem to be a consistency this week and claims from police sources, but to be perfectly frank, we don't know how much of that is true and how much of it's speculation. What we do know is that speculation certainly doesn't help us. We know a number of the facts, and I have not seen any evidence or know of any direct evidence to have changed our viewpoint to what we've held for the last 100 days. And we've said all along, and everything we've done during the last 100 days is focused on the belief that Madeline was alive when she was abducted, and certainly we were encouraged in that respect, and everything we've done is to increase the chances of her being returned.
Amanda, I mean, we've been through and are going through that much pain with not having Madeline with us, that anything that's written or said really is just a minor hurdle in comparison, and we'll ride through it. We still strongly want to do what we believe is the right thing to do, what's the right thing for Madeline, what's the right thing for us, and at the minute that is to stay. And we're not going to be bullied into going home,
We've witnessed the support that you've had in Luge, but there is out there criticism, not least from your hometown, the website for the local newspaper, the comments page, a barrage of comments that were described as spiteful, of defamatory. Were you surprised by that? And how did you feel about it?
Again, I haven't actually read the comments, and I have no idea who's written them. We've used the internet to try and raise Madeline.
Right, Debbie. That's the other thing that I wanted to point out also. It was right away. Right away, they were like, oh, statistically, the sex trafficking, she was taken. And that's how it was played immediately. And who was it that even went back? Was it her or was it him? Oh, I can't remember, and I just watched a little bit this morning. But yeah, something is up with that. Okay, we'll continue on.
Awareness. I don't know who the people are or what they've specifically written other than the broad terms that you've got.
Oh, what the motives are, because anything written like that is really unhelpful.
And then, whatever anyone thinks of our actions, ultimately, and our only focus is trying.
And that's exactly right also. I forgot it was 2 18-month-old twins, you guys. And also, while watching this, I remember Madeline actually told Kate while she was like brushing her hair, I think the night before, like, why, I was scared last night, or where were you last night, or something like that. And they were like, well, why would you ask us that? Like, and Kate's like, we thought nothing of it. And the next night you're leaving her again and she's gone. Like, I'm sorry, but if you don't see the red flags here, I don't know what to tell you. But it doesn't sit well with me.
Trying to find Madeline, and there's an innocent child missing. That's what anyone thinks. That's the key thing. Madeline is missing, and we're just doing our absolute best to maximise the chances of her being found.
And anything negative that's written, we've had thousands to counteract that, Amanda. I mean, you'd probably hear, but we've had that much support from people. I don't think we can say thank you enough, really. I mean, that's been so important. And that is the main thing, really, that far outweighs anything negative.
Luge itself, a very relaxed, safe-feeling resort, and obviously you felt relaxed and safe enough to leave the children to sleep while you went and ate within the complex. Is that something that you'd done on other nights? Is it something you were getting a feeling other holiday makers were doing?
Can't really comment about, it's well known that we were dining at the tapas bar 50 yards away, and can't comment too much in terms of our patterns and our routines, given the fact that that's subject to the investigation. But
I've said before, we both said, if we'd had to think for 1 second that this was taking a risk, it wouldn't have happened. So, I think that says how safe we felt,
Yeah, it was incredibly quiet. Family orientated, we're incredibly close, and we did feel incredibly safe here.
And judging on the letters that I've had, I've had so many supportive letters from families, from other mothers, and they've said, Kate, we've done that, we do that, who'd have ever thought that something as horrible as that would happen,
It's incredibly rare what's happened to us, but I think with the way we've talked about it before, it felt very similar to dining in your garden. And I know that have you ever left a child unattended for any length of time, whether it be you're downstairs and the child's upstairs, or you went to the garage? If we could turn back the clock and rewind, of course we would.
Yeah, we're just sorry we weren't there at that minute.
In terms of staying in Portugal, you've both said from the start that you're not going home until Madeleine is safely back with you. Are you both equally as adamant about that? Because there have been some suggestions that Kate, you're the one that really wants to stay, and Jerry perhaps not so much. What do you see as the benefits of staying? And is it true that perhaps you want to stay more?
I think we both want to find Madeleine, and we want to do everything possible to help. And we felt staying close to the investigation and trying to.
Okay, so I thought that was interesting too. 100 days, to me, that's not very long. When my 3-year-old or 4-year-old daughter was just taken, and already he's like, they're like pointing it out, like, you just want to like already go, like you're done with it. Like 100 days, and they don't seem, it's like they had already given up after 100 days. And I'm sorry, I don't understand that. I don't understand it at all. Angela Kennan, who lost her daughter and grandson, this has been what, 2 or 3 years later, over 2, I believe, because the guy was on the run for a year. And she is still as heartbroken, cries every day. Like every time I talk to her, it breaks my heart. And it's over 2 years later. And so I don't understand, because I know how I would feel if I lost one of my kids. There's just no way in 100 days that I'm okay and I'm ready to move on. Absolutely not.
Move that on and cooperate was a good thing. That's, this week and the week before highlights how important that is. It would have been a lot more difficult to progress things if we'd been back in the UK. I think from some practical aspects, in terms of efficiency, I could see benefits of going home, but emotionally, until we've done everything, and we need to know what's happened.
Is it difficult for you seeing, because now, Luge itself is it's in full swing for holiday season. Is it hard to be in your situation surrounded by people on holiday?
I just think every day's hard, to be honest. I don't think that's really made it any harder for me. I just think every day without Madeleine is very hard.
I think earlier on I was very conscious that, perhaps our grief and misery may have been affecting other people, and I was not trying to force that on them. I was conscious of that. But our own kids help us keep our feet in the ground, and they give us a lot of joy, and we have to give them love and attention that they deserve as well. So, and I'm not seeing other people enjoying themselves. I don't, that's the way it should be.
Now, your campaign has been unprecedented. What's next?
Well, to mark the 100 days, I'll be launching the YouTube channel called Don't You Forget About Me, which is a channel for missing children. And there's been a lot of work going on behind the scenes on that. I think it's a fantastic idea, and we're launching it in collaboration, obviously, with the International Centre for Missing and Exploited Children and Google themselves, who will be hosting it via YouTube. And
both of whom have been incredibly supportive and just welcome the idea. So.
Is this an indication, going on at a wider scale like this, that perhaps your hopes are fading for Madeleine in any way, in that you're giving it, putting it on a much wider scale rather than this just being about finding Madeleine, about finding other missing children?
No, I think, from quite early on, we've obviously wanted to know a little bit more about the scale of the problem, and it's massive, actually. I didn't realise how little I knew, really, and I think knowing that, it's very hard to turn a blind eye to it, and we just felt if there was anything, obviously at the minute our priority is Madeleine, but we just felt if there's anything that we could do that might help other children, that might make the world that little bit, even if it's a tiny bit safer for children, then something good has come out of it.
I think it's something tangible that could benefit other people and give renewed interest to other missing kids as well, and a medium that younger people use, and tens of millions of people use YouTube. There were over 229 videos of Madeline on it already.
About 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, so it's incredible.
And Kate, finally, if Madeline could hear you now, what would you say to her?
I mean, I love you. She knows that. She knows how much I love you, how much we both love her.
And we're still looking for her.
Yes, Wildflower. It is something that I had sent him, so that's why I can say, like, I know for sure it's something that he looked into. And I knew when sending these cases and watching, I mean, people were saying it, that it looked like I was coaching Dawn through the interviews, and you could say I was, which to me, when I say that I've been holding on to things and I'll tell things as I feel comfortable, people can take that and run with, oh, I've been keeping things from TBI. Just absolutely not true. Everything is documented, and I have told TBI everything they know. They're welcome to anything they need. And like they said, as long as I'm comfortable to continue talking to Dawn and Candace. So that's what I remain doing until, actually, I think today is the first day where I stopped texting him. I just didn't check in with him and keep getting the responses. Usually I text in the morning, hey, are you okay? It's usually like, are you still free, man? Are you out or whatever? And then texts go from there, or he'll text or whatever, say good morning. But yeah, today, maybe yesterday too. I can't remember if I said anything yesterday to him. So I just let it go. I can't, to me, it's all wrong, and I'm not comfortable anymore. No matter what, let's say Summer was took, there's no way I believe that she was kidnapped without either one of them knowing that, because it would have had to been timed perfectly. We're talking 2 minutes. So 120 seconds, right? Or is that right? Yeah. 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes from telling her to go downstairs to she was disappeared in a rural area. Like, no, there's just no way. So if she got took, like they say, then yes, it's my belief that there's no way that neither one of them didn't know or have help setting it up. And it's kind of how I feel in this situation. I believe they knew. I believe it was all staged and planned out. I believe that's why they went to Portugal. I honestly believe that they knew about that law. And as the one lady in here said, as soon as they got looked at as person of interest in Portugal, that's when they wanted to book it home. And maybe, yeah, that makes sense, right? But I think they were always pretty well protected in the UK, if I'm not mistaken. I am going to watch that Netflix documentary again, because it's been a few months. Hey, Amanda. Okay, so what do I have next? I'm going to play the one of Dawn and Candace. What was it, June 18th? So within 3 days. We've all seen it, but I'm going to go ahead and play it. And then I'm going to play the clip of the McCanns, which was the 10th anniversary of Madeline. And I just, oh gosh, I don't know if some of you see it or not, but I see so many similarities in it. And more so than the clips that were sent. I actually think he was sent the whole interview of the McCanns, but only one interview, which was when they were sitting there at the press conference. She had the doll and they were holding up the pictures and everything. It wasn't too long after that, when you see the McCanns doing stuff like that, and then you got Candace out where she's being paraded around with the church, and yeah, it's a mess. Let me see if I can find that. Mm-hmm. I think it's this one.
know she didn't walk away from this property by herself or off this yard by her swing. I feel in my heart that somebody has came up here and took her, has lured her away from here. Me and my mother and her were planting flowers, and we went in after we got done washing our hands, and she got a piece of candy from Grandma, and
Tracker. I didn't get that clip ready. I will though for the next one. The next one, it's going to be a different case that we cover, but I do have more about the McCanns and the Wells to compare. But I do want to say you're right. I actually did hear that in an interview that somebody else there did say they heard Madeline cry, and not just the night she was missing, but I believe the night before as well. And then you tie that along with, I don't have the interview where Kate says that Madeline had asked. It was the night before, or maybe it was that night. Like, where were you last night? You know, I was scared. And still, you left her alone after she says this to you. And you left her alone after you got creeped out at what hotel staff had written about your daughter, supposedly. And, you know, it left her alone when you could have gotten a free however long you needed for a dinner that was close. 2 hours? Like, I don't really know. It wouldn't have costed you that much. So, and I'm going to play this for a minute. I got to step outside for 1 second.
she wanted to go back over and see her brothers, and I said okay, and I walked her all the way over to the porch, and I watched her walk into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV. And I told the boys, I said, watch Summer, I'll be back. And within 2 minutes I came back, and I asked the boys where their sister was, and they said, she went downstairs, Mom, toys in the playroom. I said, okay. And I yelled downstairs for her a couple times, and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual because usually she always answers me. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight. She was just gone. I don't go on walks around here or runs because I'm scared of the bears and snakes and even the coyotes that are around here. Well, whoever has my daughter, I pray and hope that they have not harmed her and they bring her back to us safe and sound.
Just go to the FBI, the police, and clear it up. I mean, I don't know, it seems kind of elusive.
It's really strange that I've never seen this truck, and I've never heard of it until just recently. But I wish they would come forward and explain themselves. And if you're not a suspect, at least come forward and say what you've seen. She was a tomboy. I shaved my head. She wanted to have her head shaved like me and the boys did.
She tried to shave her head
She tried
in
to
the
shave her
back
head
and make
herself.
it, I think you can see it in some of the pictures, and it was getting out of control, so we decided to shave her head off and let it grow back long, and she shaved her head so she wouldn't feel bad, and but
Can someone get like their friend or their mama to watch? Okay, now we're good. It was at 666. I did not like that number for a minute.
it didn't bother at this point. Well, I knew right away that she was abducted. You know, I knew that right away, and that's what I told them from the beginning. But they have to go through their, you know, I forget the word.
Investigation.
They have to do one step at a time, I guess. But I'm sorry that they had to spend so many man hours in these woods and everything. I've seen them limping and everything else, you know, and I feel for them. But I just wish there was a way that neighbors could search neighbors' houses, and then if they're not willing, get a search warrant or something. But there's just no way you can search every single house, in the eastern United States or whatever. But I wish there was a way. Just thankful for the person or persons that's doing that, out of love, trying to get information and trying to get her found. We thank them from the bottom of our hearts.
It means a lot.
And we thank everybody who's trying so hard and praying so hard. And she's an awesome young lady, and we just want her back. But, there's always going to be haters, and it's always going to be that way in this world. And we just want to focus on the good friends and Christian people that are trying to help us and praying for us and praying for Summer. And we thank them from the bottom of our hearts. And that's the kind of people we try to relate with and socialize with. So we don't know anything about, no red truck, or we hardly know many of our neighbors. Because we just try to be around good people. And we do have good people in this area. We found out since this has all happened. We got some real good neighbors and good folks everywhere. But
the most important thing is to bring Summer home safe. I'm sorry that you feel this way about us, but we love our children with everything we have. We've never went without, thanks to Summer's daddy and my husband. He's always provided for us and has worked as much as he could and can and still is. And I'm sorry that you guys feel that way, but that's my baby, and nobody would ever treat her like that as long as I was around, ever.
She loves to dance. She would always want me. She says, "Daddy, hold my hand so I can twirl," and she would just like to twirl and twirl and twirl until my arm got tired, I put out there that one of Summer's favorite songs was Godzilla, and they say, and they're jumping all over me about past tense was, well, I'm sorry about that. It's just.
She also liked the song by New Breed. It was called House, My House. She sung that a lot of times when I play it on the TV. She loved to dance.
She liked to think of herself as a princess, and and all that, like all young girls do. And
she loved Frozen. She loved to be that Elsa, and
I think she really loved to be in.
All right, so most of us have been not really so much. Me, or maybe like my daughter Courtney, never really went through that phase, but my daughter Cassidy was always a princess. I tend to not think girls who want to be a princess, especially like Elsa or any princess, doesn't want their hair chopped off. I don't care how, I just have problems believing that. And I've always had problems with that. Miss 8 Choices, will you find your best research on McCann's on YouTube? I think it's Peter. I will try to send link tomorrow. Yeah, because there is more I want to go over on this. Okay, right, you're innocent until proven guilty, huh? Thanks. Hey, you don't have to be here. I'm going off of my own experiences and what my thoughts and feelings are, not just listening to hearsay, but getting up close and personal myself. So that's what I'm going with. And I felt like this. It's been an ongoing battle in my head, my brain, my heart. for months. But again, as I said at the beginning of this, when TBI tells me to talk to somebody as long as I'm comfortable doing so, that's what I do. That's what I did. So, is what it is.
Church because she felt a lot of love there, and I think you can't explain what that love is, but you feel it and you know it, when you're young, and she felt that there, and she loved everybody in that church, or she loves everybody in that church. I should rephrase that because they'll tear that apart as past tense, and I apologize again for that. I hope she gets to come home, and I hope she gets to be with our church family again.
Our best friend in that church was Robin. She loved her to death.
She looked up to women that were...
She come to that church, she went looking for Robin. That was her favorite person.
Any woman that was professional, that
was pretty,
yeah,
beautiful.
She looked up to those kind of women. She, they were, the word I'm looking for, I can't think of it, but she looked up to them. She'd give them a run for their money every day. She'd give them a run for her money, and there was times, we'd be, that our boys like, don't do this and don't do that. And next thing you know, a stick would come up and just whop them, and it'd be like, Summer, don't do that.
Summer was the boss of the family.
She typical girl.
When they get out of line, she'd put them in line.
She'd do her best.
She loved to play in the mud and the water and swing on her swing and enjoy dirt.
When I run the lawnmower around, she would run behind me. When the boys run their bikes around, she, as fast as that little bike could go, she would be behind them running and keeping up with them, no problem. She loved to run. She just loved to run, and she could pull herself up on that swing, her full body weight with her two hands, and she could do that. None of the other boys could do that, but she can.
Was she in school yet?
No, she's going this year.
This was supposed to be her first year.
She's been, we did all the, what?
I took care of everything.
Yeah.
I had her already taken all of her shots and registered in the school ready for this year.
I just never expected for anyone to get a hold of my heart like she has, because I try to guard my heart as much as I can, but she holds my heart in her little hands, and I love her with all my heart. I'd do anything to have her back. If there's any way you can find it in your heart to please release her somehow. I don't know how you might do that. I mean, you're probably scared of going to prison for the rest of your life and everything else, I'm sure. But please find it in your heart, have mercy, and find a way of letting her go, and where we can get her back. And just please have mercy on her, and and us, and her brothers. And she's such a loving, good spirit. Please don't hurt her. Please let her come home. My biggest fear is, her being tormented or locked in a dungeon or basement or something, because she loved to be outside all the time. That was her. Unfortunately, her downfall. Because a lot of times the boys would be inside and we'd be like, "Where's Summer? Why'd you leave her out there alone? Go get Summer now." And that's happened over and over again. And we'd come out and she would always be close by, but we was always coming. She had to be outside. She was an outdoor person.
She loved to be outside.
And I'm so afraid that she's locked away. She's such a loving heart and everything, and I'm afraid that she won't be able to, locked away where she can't be outside or play with a puppy or anything, love nature, and That's my greatest fear, that she's not able to do any of these things anymore, or that she could possibly, you know, I don't want to think she's dead, but it's a possibility. I don't want to address all the negativity. I just want to focus on the positive, because it's so easy to get, you know, lost in that negativity and stuff, and it's just not worth it. So I'm just, I appreciate it, y'all, the good things you say and your prayers. That's awesome.
When my sister got missing, I was in between Arkansas and Tennessee. I don't know all of what happened or what did happen, but I hope that they find her too and bring her home safely too.
But yeah, there's nothing that, I mean, she disappeared without a trace. They haven't found anything, haven't found a body, nothing. And you know, when you see cases like that, that's why I lose hope on Summer. You know, I want to keep hope, but sometimes I lose hope. And I think, well, maybe we won't never see her again, you know. So I start thinking in past tense, sorry. But I'm trying to keep hope up. I'm trying to keep my prayers up and all that.
Well, Wildflower, you don't have to be here listening. If people have a problem with what I'm saying or my thoughts and opinions, go to a different channel. And that's the thing, Deanna, you know, we're all wondering, but for sure, I believe now. And again, there's, you know, it's been 48 hours where I'm like, I can't, even the last live I did, it's a struggle to pretend to be okay with things, but I'm not okay with things. And so it's like, oh, no. And because of, you know, my experiences, I guess, I feel the way I feel. It's been an ongoing battle of feeling different ways back and forth in my head. And trust me, I tell myself all the time, innocent until proven guilty, Cher. But when you speak to somebody and you ask these questions, or you're on video calls, or you're a part of certain things because you're being put on, you know, video calls and being told to be quiet and listen in and all these things, it's hard not to think that they know more. I mean, there's no telling me that they don't, period. As I said, even if she got took, the timing of that would have had to have been so perfect. So damn perfect. There's just no. Mm-mm. No. Honest rage. I like that. Oh God. No, that's the other thing too. You know, I had 2 employees tell me, yeah, oh no, he was here from this time, but then, you know, and they're like, yeah, we'll record it for you, to know all of a sudden know nothing. They didn't want to record it, but just go tell people what they said or show their text messages. It's like, well, that's a little weird too. And if TBI told them not to say anything to anybody, I find that weird because, again, there's, you know, they told me show the texts, read the texts out, and went from wanting to record, not record. So if TBI told them not to let anyone know, they did, because they texted me that. But I was on the phone with them, and it was 2 people, because the one was yelling in the background, and he was like, right, you know. But yeah, I never got the recording for that. And again, to me, it's a little weird. There was, you know, several people I reached out to that wanted to do interviews and recorded interviews, to all of a sudden just wanted to not do that. And it didn't look good. There's other situations we'll get into, which I didn't really like to be put into, or, you know, calls Don wanted me to make for him, or whatever, or even being put on speakerphone while he chatted with his father, his sick father. It's just, you know, I have my reasons for feeling the way I feel. Candace didn't hate me because of how much I talked to Dawn. She didn't hate me because she's jealous, which is what she herself claimed to me. I think she hated that I would be a little bit smarter to that. And then she really hated when Dawn called me on speaker to listen into the, the argument that what really like nailed it in for me was the argument that Dawn called me on speakerphone and Candace they were both fighting and arguing and cussing at each other, and all Dawn did was come on a YouTube channel, so I don't know why she was so concerned that I was turning them in. So that night I was like, okay, there's no more in my head that I can give of innocent until proven guilty anymore. I can't feel that way anymore. So yes, I have stopped contacting Dawn. Maybe he'll contact me when he figures out I don't feel the same anymore. I don't really know, nor do I care. TBI said to speak to him as long as I was comfortable, and in the last 48 hours I've been struggling. I can't feel this way and then keep pretending that I don't feel this way. It's too hard. It was causing me so much stress, so I can't anymore. Yes, I have walked away, but I have every right to say my piece. If they do, they do. It's not anything new. So, I mean, if they refuse interviews with me, they refuse interviews with me. How did you get in contact with Dawn initially? Facebook. Facebook Messenger. Bye, Dalen. Love you too. If the Fun King, TBI, or Hawkins told us something substantial, and here's the thing, there's nothing. If you guys think about it, okay, both witnesses that could be like the best witnesses, which would be Dodie Sue and Grandma and the boys, are all gone. They're all out of there. Boys, CPS took them. Grandma, different state immediately to go help her sister, and that doesn't happen to a suspect. The only thing that happens to is a witness, and we know that certain people like to call or try and have other people call other people and I don't know if you call harass, but talk to them or whatever you may want to call it. I've been asked and been put in that position and turned it down multiple times. Colonel, I felt as though there is nothing more. I think that TBI knows exactly what happened, but unfortunately right now, and Don says it right in that interview, he said it, no, there's no body. Well, you're right. So right now they can't do anything. They could take them in for questioning and hold them long enough to question them. There's nothing to hold them on. Just like Madeline, Summer is gone without a trace. And we've all heard that saying, no body, no crime, right? So what do you hold them on? At this point, there's nothing that you can hold them on. There's no evidence to point to a kidnapper, so to lead, there's no DNA to lead to someone else to try and get them and question them. There is literally nothing to go off of until Summer is found. Bad static on my microphone. I'm sorry. Yeah, my phone is super hot right now. Hold on. Okay, maybe that'd be a little bit better. Okay, so now I want to play the last clip I got of the McCanns for today, which is after Madeline's been missing for 10 years. And I don't like it.
I mean, I never thought we'd still be in this situation so far along the line. It's a huge amount of time. In some ways, it feels like it was only a few weeks ago, and other times it's felt really long. But it is a hard marker of time, I think.
And you referred to it on your website as stolen time.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's time that we should...
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. It's very small. I don't know why it's so small, but I'm sorry about that.
...have had with Madeline. We should have been a family of 5 for all that time. And yeah, it does feel stolen.
I think the situation is that we tried everything in our power to not have a long, protracted missing person case like this. It's devastating, and early on I threw myself into trying to do everything we could to help find her. Obviously that hasn't worked yet, but we are still looking forward. I think that's the most important thing, and there's still hope.
Every day is another day without Madeline. I think it's just that number, it's that 10-year mark which makes it more significant, I think, because it's a reminder of how much time has gone by, and obviously 10's a big number.
To find Madeline, she either needs to, if she's still alive, recognise who she is, or we need to find the person or people responsible for taking her. I think it's been good for the general public to hear the police say that there's no evidence that she's dead and that there's an active investigation and there's still hope. So certainly from my point of view, somebody knows what's happened.
I think we've had so many supporters who are still with us, people that we don't know are still there. And I guess I just want them to be reassured that there is progress being made. And, it might not be as quick as we want, but there's real progress being made. So I think we need to take heart from that. And we just have to go with the process and follow it through, whatever it takes for as long as it takes. But there's still hope that we can find Madeline.
Oh. Yeah, I don't understand why some people... Clearly she does not like my channel, so I don't understand why I'd be here then. Alright guys, I am going to watch the documentary again because it's been a little bit for me since I've seen it. The next one, I am British and you are the first person to agree with me on the garbage from the McCanns. I am so shocked. I too accuse them of causing... Yeah, and people don't like that, but I'm sorry, it's very odd. And they had the same behaviors, like they did not seem worked up. I don't understand. And you could say, yeah, they had a lot of money, the Wells don't have a lot of money. So it's interesting to see how they're, to me, I see a lot of similarities in there. Which was one of the reasons I asked Don if he knew anything about this case. I've made a couple, not really on that case, because I got to talking with Christian's mother a lot. I felt bad, like wanting to show things, but I definitely believe it was murder in that case. There's a few things I have in my content on that, but it was nothing serious or anything yet, but I will definitely, if Ray's okay with it, I will talk about that too. Punksy, you're awesome. Thank you. Same mannerisms, not care the world. Yeah, and it's wild because I can't imagine No, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Hey, Stacy, we're just about to end, but glad to see you. I'm not sure if Mr. Share will be live tonight or tomorrow. But either way, I'm going to be live again. I'm going to go early in the morning. Not for McCann's or Wells, but just an open discussion, which can be for any really comparisons. We can talk about Summer Wells, we can talk about Gabby, we can talk about Brian. Open discussion on old and current missing people's cases, high profile cases, and kind of going through behaviors and the different ways that husbands act, the wives act, and guilty, who we know now to be guilty, not guilty, or, still open and still in question. Curious really quick before I end this though, do you guys also believe that the Ramsey parents are innocent or not innocent? Thumbs up for innocent, thumbs down for not innocent in that case, because I would like to go a little bit over that tomorrow as well. Awesome. I'll block you too so you don't, feel the need to come and leave nasty comments, but I'm sure you got troll accounts too. Oh, interesting. Thumbs down, thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs up. What I say, so thumbs up is you think that they're innocent. Okay. Not innocent. So we got a few that are not innocent too. There's a link that describes they found DNA to a neighbor. I don't think that's true. I think the DNA they passed away as being the manufacturer of the underwear she was wearing. Because they were hand sewn or something like that. Interesting. I'm going to get a couple of things together I can show tomorrow too. So either like later afternoon or morning. Well, I don't know what's best for you guys. She did. Oh, last week she got arrested. I know she got arrested back in February as well. Yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely not. I don't believe it's suicide anyway. Miss H. Oh wow. So I would have to put maybe less than half think not guilty. I got a thumbs up in that. They're just not sure. Tammy Ayo is somewhere in the middle. Thank you, Stacy. I'll be back tomorrow while Mister's working, and then he's probably going to go live either tonight or tomorrow. So maybe he'll do an open Summer Wells discussion tonight or something. We're almost at 5 o'clock here. He's not even home from work yet, though. So he might be a little too pooped today. But thank you guys. Most of you were respectful. Punksy, thank you. Somebody sent me a PayPal little tip. Thank you. I didn't see who it was, but thank you for whoever did that. I appreciate you guys so much, and I'll see you guys back sometime tomorrow morning or afternoon. I'll set it up later tonight, so I'll be watching for that. Be kind to each other. Goodbye, guys. Thanks again.